Uncut and uncensored. Yesterday, Wotso Videos, Isaac if you will, uploaded a new video asking the question of who F.O.W.L is. Now, I'll be honest, as I've mentioned before, I haven't watched much of the new DuckTales. I pay more attention to it through various clips online and what other people have to say. And it is getting me intrigued, especially with the third season basically opening up the door to the Disney Afternoon universe. Anyway, Isaac asked the question in his video, what is F.O.W.L? Who is F.O.W.L? Well, F.O.W.L was mostly known, if you grew up in the 90s, like I did, was known for their appearances in Darkwing Duck, and mostly known as the fiendish organization of World Larceny. Now, they made one or two appearances in the original DuckTales, but outside of that, again, like I said, the most notable appearances were in Darkwing Duck. Now, here we find out exactly who the head honchos of F.O.W.L are. In the original incarnation or appearances in Darkwing Duck, we never knew who they were. Here we see who they are. And we see that they are Scrooge's business associates, the three vultures we've seen from the beginning of the show. The ones that are trying to rope in the finances of Scrooge so he doesn't have access to the necessary utilities he would need to take care of certain things or go on certain adventures, stuff like that. So, along with finding out who the head honchos are of F.O.W.L here in this incarnation, we also see who their agents are. And unsurprisingly, if not predictably, we knew Steelbeak, or at least this version of Steelbeak, would show up and be part of that. We also find out that the Phantom Blot is part of it. We find out that one lady, her name's Henrietta, or whatever her name is, the one that lost her arm originally and got it replaced by a mechanical one. We find out that she was and still is a part of F.O.W.L. We see that an old adversaries of Scrooge's from the Old West is in a chronological state, along with his bodyguard, who we've seen before, or who's appeared in the show before, and he's part of F.O.W.L, or they're part of F.O.W.L. We see that the Phantom Blot, I think I mentioned him, the Phantom Blot is part of F.O.W.L. We find out that Gandra D, this version of Gandra D, is part of F.O.W.L, along with several others. But the thing is, what is the plan of F.O.W.L in the third season? Now, it has not yet been announced if we'll get a fourth season, because of the fact that if they're opening the door to the Disney Afternoon universe in season 3, pretty much I'm guessing season 3 might be it, unless a decision is made at the last second to do a fourth season. So I would assume right now the third season's it. I mean, because basically they're bringing out all the big guns, if you will, for this season. And, you know, the question is, what is F.O.W.L's agenda? Well, we know part of it is to take control of Scrooge's fortune. We know that. We know it is to take control of his fortune. To kind of basically make themselves powerful. And I'm thinking that's the connection. I think that is what F.O.W.L's connection with Scrooge is if they have the access, or they have access to the fortune of the richest duck in the world, it thus, by default, would make them the most powerful organization in the world. However, I do see some hiccups here. And I know I'm about 4 minutes, 34 seconds in. But like I said, I do see some hiccups here. Mostly, I think F.O.W.L is going to lose an agent. I really do. Yeah, F.O.W.L, probably by losing one agent, is still going to be too powerful and strong for Scrooge and his family to take head on right away. or before the finale, because we know they're going to take them on in the finale. That's what it's being built towards. But we know that right off the bat, head on, they're going to be too powerful, minus one agent. And that agent, I believe, that's going to be a de facto traitor, or be that one agent that F.O.W.L loses, is going to be Gandra D. Because obviously they set it up in her debut episode in this incarnation of DuckTales. They set it up to where this Gandra has feelings for Fenton. She has feelings for him, but right now she's at a crossroads. She doesn't know who to trust, but she's willing to work for basically the highest bidder. So to me, what's going to happen, and we've seen this before in media before, she's going to betray F.O.W.L. She's going to betray them. She's going to betray them, and she's going to go to the side of Scrooge and his family. I see it. I don't know why I see it. I just do. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I think Gandra D is going to be the wild card here. She's not going to be a big wild card, but she's going to be a big enough wild card to the point that, like I said, even if F.O.W.L loses her to the side of good, to Scrooge's side because of Fenton, it's not going to be a big loss for them. It won't be. Now, the question is, though, how does F.O.W.L play a part in the rest of Season 3, especially when it comes to these other Disney Afternoon characters showing up? How do they play a part? Well, that's a good question. How Molly and Kit, the grown-up versions of them, get involved is a good question. How they come into play is a good question. How the Rescue Rangers will come into play is a good question. How the Genie will come into play is a good question. We obviously now know, though, how the monstrous versions of the Wuzzles in Season 3, who's going to be responsible for their appearance. But again, the Rescue Rangers, Goslin, Taurus Bulbar, Kit and Molly, perhaps Fenton's mom. We're not really sure because we do see a female duck flying with him in this poster here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of role F.O.W.L plays. What kind of role F.O.W.L plays in Season 3, especially when it involves the Disney Afternoon cast of characters. Like, how will Goofy play a part in this when it comes to F.O.W.L? How will, Della maybe play a part in this? Maybe, Donald. We don't know. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting. But again, my theory on this whole situation, my theory is that Gandra D is going to be one of those traitors. She's going to turn her back on F.O.W.L because of her affections for Fenton. I feel that's coming. That's the wild card. Because think about it this way too. The way these agents made their appearance. Gandra was the first one to show her face. Or at least one of them. That tells me right off the bat. She's going to be the first to fall. She's going to be the first to fall, fail, and she's going to be the one that goes against them. And again, it's all going to be because of Fenton. That's what's going to happen. Now, like I said, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I think that's what's going to happen. I believe it. It's too obvious. It's too obvious because if you're a longtime DuckTales fan or a hardcore Disney Afternoon fan, you know that from a story perspective and a continuity perspective, Gandra and Fenton are meant to be. Now, could they change that? Absolutely. Could the lady Gizmo Duck's holding it in this poster be his new love interest? Who knows? But my assumption is could be his mom. We don't know. again, questions hopefully will be answered to some of these scenarios. But like I said, I believe, I don't know why, but I believe Gandra will be the one that turns against F.O.W.L. She's the wild card. Like I said, somewhat of a big, if not minor, wild card, but she's going to play a wild card part. To where, because of how she feels for Fenton, she's not going to want to hurt him. It's going to upset F.O.W.L, and she's basically going to turn against them. I don't know how they got that set up, but I feel that's coming. Now, like I said, I could be wrong, and I know I repeated myself a lot saying that, but I'm just trying to get a point across. Now, again, as far as the Disney Afternoon characters go, we got to look at some of the villains associated with them. Like with Rescue Rangers, you got a numeral amount of villains that could become F.O.W.L agents, or could be associated with F.O.W.L agents. For example, we got Fat Cat. We don't know if Fat Cat's going to show up, but if he does, think about it. Think about this. Fat Cat could be a member of F.O.W.L or be recruited as one. That's something to look into. Let's take a look at Molly and Kit. We know already Don Carnage is here. Imagine if Don Carnage gets recruited to be part of F.O.W.L and that brings in Molly and Kit. I'm just saying. All the possibilities are endless. The way they're setting up F.O.W.L is that under Scrooge's nose, financially, they have the resources needed to get what they want, to accomplish their goal, because they're using Scrooge's financial assets. But what that also tells me is they're setting themselves up for failure. Because from a continuity standpoint, you can't tell me that they won't, down the line in season 3, have Scrooge figure out that something is not right. That he's going to probably check his finances and find out that something is not right. That he's losing money when he shouldn't be losing it, but why? And I've got a feeling when we get to, I think, the hiatus, their mid-season 3 finale, that's when the reveal will be made. That, to me, is when the reveal will be made to Scrooge and his family, that Scrooge's business associates, those 3 vultures, are the heads of F.O.W.L. And then that's going to start the roller coaster of a run towards the season 3 finale, possibly the series finale. Again, not saying season 3 is it. For all we know, they could make the announcement that they got a season 4 in the works. But right now, my assumption is by the mid-season point, when they get ready to go to hiatus, that's when that's when Scrooge, along with us, the audience, and maybe his family and friends, are going to find out the truth. Are going to find out that F.O.W.L has been head up by his business associates the whole time, and that's why some of his financial assets are not doing as well as they should be. So, I'll put it this way, it's going to be an interesting ride. And as a comparison, in closing, I will put this. The Brony fandom, the Brony and Pegasus fandom really didn't take off until about season 3, as far as I can tell. Season 2, season 3, whatever. It didn't really start to become that phenomenon until around that point, where that basically would start, because basically that's when it started to reach its peak. So I look at DuckTales as being in a similar situation where it's a huge hit, but it's yet to reach its peak, and now come season 3, it's going to. And season 3 is when a lot more viewers are going to come in to check it out, and maybe even binge watch past episodes to catch up to what they've missed. So it's going to be a really, really interesting 3rd season for DuckTales from a story perspective and a viewership perspective. But let me know what you guys think, though. What are your thoughts on F.O.W.L? Do you agree with me that Gandra D could play the wild card in this? Like, she could be that one wild card that turns against F.O.W.L and joins up with Scrooge, but maybe the story is her trust has to be earned. That'd be a really interesting scenario, a really interesting plot and arc to explore. And what do you think about F.O.W.L's? How do you think F.O.W.L is going to associate when it comes to dealing with the other Disney Afternoon characters like Rescue Rangers, Kit and Molly from Tailspin, Goofy from Goof Troop, Goslin from Darkwing Duck and Taurus Bulbar, all these characters. How do you think they're going to play a part? Do you think they'll recruit some of their iconic villains to try to be part of the organization? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on all that? Do you think that by the mid-season finale of season 3, Scrooge and his family will find out the truth? Do you think they will? Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. I got to get myself ready for work, and I will talk to y'all later, but let me know what you guys think.